Tuesday, 8:15 p.m, Enzo Maresca's Chelsea look to get back to winning ways when we take on rock bottom of the Premier League Southampton at Stamford Bridge. It is a match that is a must-win game for Chelsea Football Club. I honestly believe that I can sit here and say that if we do not beat Southampton on Tuesday night, we can wave goodbye to hopes of automatic Champions League qualification. Something would have to go drastically in our favour. And by the way, when you look at results recently, right, things have already been going in our favour for us to even still be in and around this sort of mix of teams that have a chance of qualifying for the Champions League. Here to discuss the game with me and to debate over the team, the starting lineup that we want to see and eventually come to a conclusion is the big dog. It's the channel fan favourite, Josh Aveste. Josh, how you doing, mate?
I'm great. You know, I think we're going to beat them 8-0.
That is a lovely t-shirt, top you've got.
Do you like it now? Because I remember at the start of the season you said it was horrible.
Start of the season I hated it. Then we started playing well and I quite liked it.
Yeah.
And then now I'm nonchalant on it.
Do you remember when you were at a bar and you went, "Oh, you've got really nice eyes," and she went, "Really? Why are you talking to me? Like, I don't know who you are. Like, why did you just come up to me and say that?" And what you were really hoping she'd say is that you've also got really nice eyes.
Yeah.
And that's what you've done there. You've said to me you've got a really nice t-shirt on. But what you really wanted me to say was, I prefer yours.
You do prefer mine. This bad boy. I'm loving these, by the way.
It looks clean. It looks really clean.
We've been getting sent a few... Have they even launched yet?
No.
No, we haven't. So
you shouldn't actually really even be talking about it, to be honest.
Yeah, it should be top secret. But there's a company called Nyla, which is actually the meaning of the word Nyla is winner. Or one who achieves.
How did you find that out?
Well, I looked it up when I tried to work out why the company was called Nyla, basically. But anyway, they sent us a load of gear because they had seen the Nyla on my fight shorts, right? Yeah. So they put two and two together, sent us a load of gear. Said, and you know when you get sent stuff all the I get sent stuff all the time, and it's like, oh, whatever. And normally I'm just like, yeah, whatever. But I don't normally wear any of it and whatnot because not normally my style. Some of the stuff I get sent to, all right. The Lyland Scott stuff I got sent was nice, and I've worn a lot of that stuff. But half the time they send you stuff, and it's just like, cheers, but no thanks or whatever. Yeah. And these t-shirts, mate, they're the bollocks because I go out and pay like 30 quid for these, and I'm getting they're kind of like the Zara ones, aren't they?
They're quite thick, aren't they? They're not like really thin.
Ones. So I'm going out and paying like 30 quid for these normally. Yeah. And I've just been sent. They've sent me like 20 of them for free.
They're not out there yet, though, are they?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
But wasn't that geezer saying that there's a waiting list or something? Like someone could sign up and put their email in, and you can join a waiting list.
Yeah, I haven't done it, but I should do. I should do.
Well, if you're getting them for free, you shouldn't.
Yeah. I think that's probably why they're sending me them. So when they do launch, or you should probably check if they have launched.
Yeah.
When they do launch, we shout them out and we get them in there. Yeah, but as for now, I'm just wearing them. But it is a nice tee, isn't it?
Can you imagine Cole Palmer in one of those tees?
Oh, it'd be freezing.
Who would be? I know we've discussed this before, but who would look best, like in the Chelsea squad in one of those? Best looking.
Do you want me to be deadly serious with you now? Do you know what I would like to see?
Who?
I would like to see the locks dropping on one of these bad boys.
Oh, well, we got a lot of options.
I would go Cucurella.
Okay.
I'd go Cucurella.
I thought you were going to go for the dreads.
Nah, Cucurella. Cucurella, a nice little oversized white Nyla t-shirt, tanned up, fresh off the back of winning the World Cup.
Yeah.
I'd like that one, yeah.
Paella, some Estrella.
There you go.
Do you say Estrella or Estrella?
Estrella.
Okay.
I don't say it, I just drink it. I won't be sinking a few singers at Chelsea Southampton because I won't be at the match. I am in camp for a big fight that is soon to be announced. However, let's focus on the job we've got ahead. And doing a job is really what we should be doing on Southampton. I think the gulf between the Premier League and the Championship's probably been at the biggest, we would say, in our lifetime.
Well, last season both came up and went down, didn't they? All of the teams, 3 teams that came up went down.
Both? Both 3 of them.
Both 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, all 3. And then this season, that could happen again, couldn't it?
I mean,
quite realistically.
it will happen again.
Well, you say that, mate, but
You're banking on Amari Hutchinson and the boys over at Ipswich.
Don't know if you've heard about a certain team that could be in a relegation fight.
They're not the old Red Devils, are they?
They might be in a relegation battle.
I was so annoyed, right? Because with Stake, mate, I put my accumulator on, and what's rule 1?
Never back the early kickoff.
Yeah, but what's rule number 2?
I'm Joey Knight and I make up my own rules.
Rule number 2, yeah, that's a good one. And then rule number 3 is always back against Amarin's Man United. So I looked at it, and it was like, when it's just written in the stars, I'm like, Ruben Amarin, he's came in, he was supposed to make an instant impact, and who's he coming up against? Moise. The man that they did not give enough time to and probably should have kept at the helm and probably would be in a much better competition.
Completely underrated.
Well, listen, Man United have won a couple of trophies since David Moyes departed, haven't they?
A couple.
They've won a couple.
Yeah.
They've won a couple. But they've not won. They've not won a European Cup. Does
it count?
Yeah, it counts when we win
we're going to count it.
Counts when we win it. I'm going to be counting it. I'm going to be opening up the fucking Fulham Road, mate, for a parade.
Mate, fucking hell, we got that draw, didn't we? Copenhagen.
Would they parade the Conference
League
would. Cup?
We need something. We need some parade. To be fair, I reckon it'd be a pretty good turnout.
Shameless, and I'll be there.
Copenhagen is not going to be an easy game, by the way. That's a tough one. Very
Top
good
of the
away
Danish
day.
league.
Very good away day. Would you like to go? I'd quite like to go.
I'd like to go.
Yeah,
but
you can't.
I'm not on the piss at the minute.
I know.
Yeah.
That would be a big session in Copenhagen. By the way, we'd have a lot of fun in Copenhagen.
My God,
we've got a lot of viewers that are based in Copenhagen.
Yeah, big up the Danes.
Yeah, big up the Danes.
Yeah.
You like the women
now? Oh yes. Listen. Is it anything but unforgivable not winning against Southampton? I'm not about taking a point. Not winning against Southampton is surely unforgivable because they've only got 1 win in their last 17 league games. Southampton.
I mean, we've only got 2 in 10.
Yeah. That's 2 wins for the entire season that they've got. Shipping a cool 61 goals in the meantime. We put 5 past them when we played them earlier on in the season.
Jorgensen in net.
Jorgensen in the net, yeah. Nkunku on the score sheet in that match.
Who else scored?
What, against Southampton?
Yeah, I can't even remember.
It'd have been the palm dog.
Yeah.
It'd have been the non-dog.
Oh.
I'm guessing so.
Good knowledge.
I'd go... I don't even know, by the way, but I'd go in that match, I'm probably saying... Palmer 2, Noni Madueke 1, Christopher Nkunku 2, or something like that. Are you getting it up?
I am gonna get it up. Yeah, that's often the question they say to me as well. To be honest with you, Disasi scored the first goal.
Eh?
Christopher Nkunku scored the second.
Yeah.
Non-dog. Third.
Yeah.
Cole Palmer.
Fourth.
Jane Sancho.
It was Sancho, wasn't it? Yeah. There you go.
Condog.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we'd get that result. I'm not feeling that confident about it. Are you?
I am.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm always confident. No, listen.
I mean,
right?
You are always confident. What did you predict for the Villa game?
2-1.
What did I predict?
2-0. So I got it right and you got it wrong.
No, I said 2-1 to Villa.
2-1 to Villa?
Yeah.
Yeah, we both said 2-1. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who we said it to. We both said 2-1, so we both got it right. No, listen, I look at this game against Southampton and I think that from what I saw in the Villa game, and let's touch on Enzo Fernandez here because he was basically in tears when he went over to the away fans, and it was touching in a way. And I've been someone that has given a fair bit of criticism over the past to Enzo Fernandez when I don't feel like he had been performing to the level that I had expected of him and had even seen of him within his first 6 months or so at the club. And I think that it was a hard one for him yesterday because not just did he get on the score sheet, Enzo did some real good work against Aston Villa. And look, to have not come away with a point was ridiculous. I think that was a game where realistically we should have come away with 3 points. And naivety, immaturity, and the general age of the squad, which can't be helped, by the way, unless you're the directors or the board who really need to fucking pull their finger out and sort this out, is ultimately what lost us that game. Against Southampton, I do think we're going to have too much for them. And I do think that we have quite possibly, and we're getting to team sheets, right? But we've quite possibly been forced through injury to stumble upon a system that might somewhat work for us.
Do you know what someone said to me recently on the Instagram DMs? They said, what's your number? No, they didn't say that. They said to me that Chelsea have been and always will be a five at the back team.
Well,
just with the nature of the
I
squad.
don't think we'll always be a five at the back team, but I do think we'll always be a, when it goes wrong, go to five at the back. Which is your three centre-backs and your wing-backs. The problem is, Enzo Maresca is not a manager that has been brought up in the mould of or has ever played with wing-backs, really. He's always inverted them, which then, I don't know. I mean, looking at the forward line yesterday, right? If you compare the 3 to the 4 and the 3 to the 4, what I mean here when I'm saying this,
it's a great song that you're singing here.
To the 2 to the 3, but the 3 to the 4, right? Yesterday we saw a 3, didn't we? In terms of that forward line, you could call it a 4 if you're with including Enzo Fernandez in there. But what I'm saying is, in the match against Aston Villa, I would say more so we saw a bit more of a 3 in terms of, you got the figurehead up there that was Pedro Neto, and then you had Nkunku and Cole Palmer either side of him, right? I likened it with you to the just from an attacking perspective to the Champions League final against Manchester City in terms of Havertz leading it, but then you had Werner and then you had Mason Mount either side of him, right? And I kind of likened it to that, and that's what I really like to see. However, the problem is the system there of having wing backs. Now, if it was up to me, and I think we should just start discussing the team a little bit already now. If it was up to me, right, we won't go into the goalkeeper just yet because that's the discussion, but if it was up to me, what I would say is, let's say, for example, if Trevor Chalobah's not available, you have a Reece James as a right-sided centre-back, yeah? You have a Tosin Adarabioyo in the middle and a Levi Colwell as a left-sided centre-back who's comfortable there. Then I would say you go with Cucurella and you go with Malo Gusto. Now, we used to go Chile James, and they were both bombing up, right? And the cover would be supported by Kante, but not only that, we had an unbelievable defence in the likes of Rudiger, Thiago Silva, Christensen, even Trevor Chalobah back then. I could go on. We had some great defenders at the club, right? But I think that maybe with Cucurella, you say, okay, you could a little bit more invert. So I'm kind of tweaking the system a little bit. You can invert into the midfield a little bit more. But Malo Gusto, fuck inverting, mate. Don't be inverting. You do bomb on and you whip crosses in. You whip balls in. And if you're not going to do that, maybe you and Reece can take swapping, take chances and changes between the two of you, because Reece has got an unreal delivery as well. But I do think that system in this game could be something that works. Just from a defensive perspective, how do you feel about that? So what I'm putting to you now is Malo Gusto and Cucurella in wing-back form with a back three.
What you're really trying to do is really rub in the fact that you had said that Malo Gusto and Reece James can play in the same team, and it's fine if you just want to. If you just want to rub that in one more time, you're more than welcome to. The only question I have around this is, Southampton are on for the lowest points total in Premier League history.
We're on 9 at the minute, I think,
or are they not? What did Derby finish with?
12. So I don't think Southampton. I think would Southampton need to get a couple more draws? I think that'd be all right.
Yeah, but it's possible. What I'm saying, is
they're a win-off match in Derby's record, and actually statistically, if you look at it, if 2 in 26, that means that they should by 38 get one more win. Yeah. So a win and a draw would see them over.
Let's just say this then. They're very close to that team, right? We're talking about the worst Premier League sides in the history of the competition. And we're talking now about going as a back 5 against a team that poor. And so my only caveat, because while I agree with you, I think the system is the way to go, I'm going to suggest a slight tweak, which is kind of the way that Maresca played, which was Reece goes into midfield when we're attacking.
Yep.
But he drops in when we're defending.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
I understand
So
that.
basically, like, I think more. Bear in mind, we're gonna have more of the ball than Southampton will, or you presume so. Anyway.
You'd fucking hope so.
Yeah, exactly. I think that we'll see Reece more in the midfield, but I think it will in the opposition's half. I think it will end up being, or in our half, it will end up being Reece at the back.
So let's speak about midfield. Reece in midfield against Aston Villa. What did you make of it? Because I saw some very sort of mixed opinions on Reece in midfield. Some people felt that he did a good job of it, and I think creatively, I think he did do a good job of it. A lot of what we created came through Reece, but at the same time, I think that there was the criticism of having the actual the legs and the ability to turn and get back when the transition happens and you are being countered.
I think Reece knows that he needs to nurse himself now. And I think do you remember back in the day, I think what we always loved about Reece was how cool and calm he was on the ball. Like, I remember Reece used to do things so quickly, and he used his physicality very aggressively, didn't he? Like, he would do very short, sharp sprints. He would shoot when he could. You know, like, he would all the things you worry about your hamstrings. He would do, but through all of that, he would also have this air of calmness. We've all played with a player like this on the football pitch. Maybe not as good as a Reece James, but someone who you give them the ball and you go that. See you next Tuesday is not going to lose the ball.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? There's always that one guy in your team. You just go, yeah, I trust him. I know he's not going to lose it. Reece James is always plays by that. So now what the other side of that coin that I'm now worried about, because I always thought that was a positive in Reece's game, I think now he holds on and worries about the ball a little bit too much, and also isn't quick enough to get back into position when he needs to get back into the position. So I think that was the negative side of that. But I actually say overall, I really didn't understand any criticism for Reece James in the game against Villa. I overwhelmingly thought his progression into midfield was really good. I thought he had moments where he did slow the game down in a good way. Because let's be honest, sometimes you need to pick up the ball and just pass it back. And mate, do you remember the Jose? We would do this all the time. We'd pass the ball from left to right, back. You know, we'd keep the ball so often. Teams would get furious, press right on us, and that's often how we got opportunities.
Take this thing out of the game sometimes. Get them. Again, to use a boxing analogy, it's the same way as letting an opponent walk onto your shots, basically. Making them stay at range, keep them on that jab, make them frustrated, make them miss. Then all of a sudden, they're going to get so desperate to land on you that they become uncompact, out of shape, unconventional. And that's when there are clear pathways for you to penetrate. And it's the same in football in ways sometimes. If you can keep a bit of that ball at the time, then all of a sudden, that team... Say, for example, Southampton are sticking 10 players behind the ball. They're going to have to come for you a little bit. But that's also why it's important to be clinical early on.
Oh, my God. I think that's our biggest weakness throughout the entire season is the clinical nature. So shall we just agree, then, that we'll set our team up in a back five?
Yep.
So we'll do that. 2 midfielders in front of them and then 3 attackers.
Yep.
Should we go for that?
Yep,
So that's the formation. So then now should we go do the individual players in that team?
Yeah. So, for me, it's very obvious that the midfielders have got to be Enzo and Caicedo.
I think you've been really disrespectful to Dewsbury Hall.
Keenan Dewsbury Hall,
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think you've been really disrespectful. Again.
I mean, he's got experience playing against Southampton. They were both in the Championship last season.
What has he got to do to get in your team?
Keenan Dewsbury Hall.
No, I'm joking. We know it's Enzo. Do you know what? That moment where Enzo goes... has his head in his hands and goes up to the Chelsea fans at the end of that Villa game was one of my favourite Enzo moments. And I don't think we've had too many.
I can see Enzo having a worldie in this match. I think he will be bang up for it. Because players do look at social media, they do see stuff that's been said about them and whatnot, and I think that Enzo will thrive off a bit of the love that he got from that. Do you know what I mean?
I think he will. I think he's
out
one of
a
those
negative,
players.
it was a small sort of silver lining to come out of that performance that we actually went fair fucking play, mate. Like, do you know what I mean? And do you know what? Like, there's been losses this season, and people again will get annoyed at me because they'll go, "We lost the game. You shouldn't be happy." I'm not happy. No. Yeah. But there is middle ground in life. You can not be happy about something, and then you can still at the same time try and take a positive from a negative situation.
Well, there's also good individual performances in a team sport. I thought Pedro Neto played really well.
I thought Pedro Neto played really well.
Yeah.
I thought Enzo Fernandez was good. Yep. You know, I thought that multiple players. I thought that had he have not made the mistake that fucking cost us the points at the end, we're walking away from the match going, yeah, Jorgensen done all right today.
Do you know who again we haven't even mentioned that was brilliant? Caicedo. Caicedo puts through.
Do you know why we don't do it?
Because he's just so good every week. He's just constantly good.
It's because it's so consistent. You don't do it. It's like going. It's like every time you run the tap, going. Isn't it great? We've got water.
Yeah.
Like, isn't it great?
But you just expect it.
You know.
Do you know what we should start doing? We should have a gratefulness journal. You and I, and we should write down every morning. We should say grateful for having Moises Caicedo play for Chelsea. Mm-hmm. That's where it should go. He was playing passes that I don't think he's been. Maybe I've just been sleeping on it, but I feel like he was playing some unbelievable passes.
Mate, that pass he put through to Cole Palmer.
Was ridiculous.
It reminded me of. Can you think what pass I'm thinking of?
Is there another one that he put through to Jackson?
Yeah, against Liverpool when Jackson finished it. Yeah.
That was an unbelievable. But this is why I quite like the back five formation as well, because I feel like it unlocks both of those players. Caicedo can bomb up more than he would do otherwise, because let's be honest, he's effectively a fucking right back in the formation, really, the way he has to play. And then Enzo can be an out-and-out number 10. So I think it works.
I think that this then, because, you know, the way we're going to set it up on screen, you'll see it as, a sort of five at the back with those wing backs. That's the way we're going to set it up on the screen. But what we're saying here is Reece James is going to come in to support Moises Caicedo.
He's going to be an inverted centre-back.
There you go. Enzo Fernandez is going to push slightly further forward and whatnot. Yep. But the three up top is the real talking point, the real question. I am going to go
I
with
think
what
the goalie might be a fucking talking point, but fair enough.
Let's go to the goalie last.
Okay.
Let's go to the goalkeeper last. I am going to go with the two positions that I think that me and you can agree on.
We need to have an argument about this, because I think we are.
Do you think we will?
Not the two players, but I think the third, yes.
Well, there you go. That's why I'm starting on the two.
Cool.
The two that I think we can agree on is I believe that we can agree that Pedro Neto goes through the middle and Cole Palmer goes to the right of him.
I mean, we've been saying that for about 2 months.
Yeah. So it's not a real spoiler that's what you're probably going to see on screen in a minute. Now, we need to speak about the player on the left.
We've got a few options.
Let's go through the options. Let's go through the options.
Tyreek George.
Got Tyreek George.
But just quickly, are you a fan of the 3 p.m. blackout? No, of course you're not, because no one fucking is. But with our friends, Surfshark, we are able to navigate a way around that 3 p.m. blackout and watch all of the action taking place at 3 p.m. in the Premier League. Because it's been alleged that with Surfshark, for a very, very low monthly subscription, you are able to change your location to the USA, to Spain, to anywhere in the world that doesn't have the 3 p.m. blackout. But it's not just about watching content that you may not be available to get in the country that you're residing in. A VPN also does wonders for keeping your information safe online. Using a VPN is pretty much the same as putting on a pair of trousers before you leave the house. It keeps the stuff that you want private. And Surfshark keeps all of your online activity encrypted so you can browse privately, block ads, and virtually travel the world in one click. So I've already talked about the football, but let's say you're traveling and you want to log into your online banking. On a public network, anyone can sneak in and have a look at what you are up to. But with Surfshark, you can mask your IP. So all of your traveling is encrypted and your personal info stays personal, just for you. And that's exactly why I use Surfshark on a daily basis. I use it for the football, I use it to stay safe online, and with just one click, you guys could do the exact same. One subscription gives you access to unlimited devices, and they have a 24/7 helpline if you need any support. So I honestly couldn't be happier to be partnering up with Surfshark. These guys are legit the best in the business. And if you want a mega deal on me, make sure that you go to the link in the description, or just scan the QR code that's on screen now for 4 extra months of subscription at an unbeatable price. But remember, my code is SharkJoey if you want that offer. They'll even give you a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's literally no risk if you are not happy with the product. Huge shout out to Surfshark. Let's get back into it.
We've got Christopher Nkunku.
Sancho.
We've got Jadon Sancho.
Yeah. Shim.
If we were to play Shim
Mayuka. Yeah.
then obviously that would probably, for me,
Yeah.
mean taking Pedro Neto out
And
of
pushing him
the most furthest forward position.
Yeah.
The almost Kai Havertz Champions League final position.
Yeah.
And
He
pushing
played
him
it
over
so well.
him over to the left
Great
hand
memories.
side. But my gut feeling is that Shin Mayuka does not get an appearance in this one. I'd love to see him get some minutes off the bench, and I think that especially, and I don't think that as a Chelsea fan you could take anything for granted at this moment in time, but especially if we are able to get a significant lead on Southampton, if we're 3 goals up or something like that, which I know you'll think is a stretch at this moment in time, but if we are, then Shin Mayuka really, really needs to be tried out in this match.
Are you
going to
go 4.5 goals or over? Is that your bet for this game?
I do think we're actually going to do them about 4-0, to be honest.
Spoiler alert for the for the score prediction.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so if you are going to say it's 4-0, we need another very strong number 10. So who are you putting forward your case for then?
So by the way, when Josh says number 10, he's on about the player that's going to be to the left-hand side of the number 9 through the middle,
Yeah.
which is the 2 sort of forward 10s, like we were saying, in the Champions League.
It's not a winger.
It was Timo Werner and it was Mason Mount, right? So my one that I would put in there, I think I would be going for this one with Jadon Sancho. I think he scored last time out against Southampton. I think that sometimes you've got to go for the quality in that position, and the thing that might have surprised you there is that I have been calling for Tyreek George, right? However, with this role being a little bit more narrow in terms of area of the pitch that we're playing, I like Tyreek George out wide. I like him hugging that touchline. I like him really driving up players from there, creating stuff. However, I think that Jadon Sancho can do a bit more of a techie job and feed balls through there. And it might not even be to the likes of Pedro Neto. It might be Cole Palmer. They might be taking it in turns of who progresses in there. But I think a 3 up top of Pedro Neto with Sancho to the left of him and Palmer to the right of him, for me, sounds as ideal as we can get at this moment
Can
in
I
time.
put forward an alternative case?
Yeah.
You reckon we're going to score a lot of goals in this game, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Do you therefore not think that a player that could do with a game like this where he has the opportunity to score a few goals would not be Christopher Nkunku?
Get out.
I think this is one of those games where Cole Palmer learns from his mistakes. He sees Christopher Nkunku in an acre of space on the left-hand side. He passes him the ball when he has the opportunity to. And Christopher Nkunku scores the first goal. He then has other opportunities, maybe gets another assist. And then he goes on this run of form. We all stop this narrative of he doesn't want to be there, which we all know anyway. But let's be honest, there's loads of players that don't want to be at Chelsea that end up carrying on playing, and we just go from there. Is that not a feasible outcome?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's fair enough to say that Nkunku would probably warrant a start in this game. But at the same time, I don't know. I just think Jadon Sancho, for me, would be the player that I would be going with, because what I'm looking at is again, this whole thing of not wanting to be there. I completely understand your side of the argument, and your side of the argument is very much so that it's not so much about not wanting to be there. It's about, probably not getting the service and not getting the trust from the players around him. And you could definitely shine a magnifying glass on that moment with Cole Palmer when he doesn't pass to Christopher Nkunku and go, well, there you go. There's your proof that the players around him aren't actually doing their job in terms of giving him that support that they should be in that moment. And I do think that, if Cole Palmer knocks the ball in front of him, Nkunku's onside in that position, Nkunku taps it into an empty net, and then we go 2-0 3-0 up. So that is a bit of a travesty, and I can understand why that would put you off. However, I've got to go on the back catalogue of what I've got. And what I've got is when Nkunku's come off the bench, for example, I don't think that he's been as impactful as Jadon Sancho was when he was coming off the bench. And I think that when you look at our best spell that we were having, and those matches where we were turning up and we were scoring goals and players were laying on assists and whatnot, Jadon Sancho was quite a pivotal part of that for me, and Christopher Nkunku wasn't. So when I'm trying to replicate that form, I'm looking at Jadon Sancho. And if you want me to be completely honest, who do I think's a better player, Nkunku or Jadon Sancho? I think Jadon Sancho. People disagree with it.
Wow.
People disagree with it, but I think Jadon Sancho is better than Nkunku.
I would have probably said different. The only other counter that, because we will make a decision now, the only other counter that I would say is that Sancho came on against Villa, didn't really change the game, probably got worse. And Nkunku played during that phase of the play, first half, where we looked very mobile and decent and worked within his formation. So
I'd love to know what the fans in the comments would like to see formation-wise, whether they're going along with this and thinking wing-backs. I think that these little like wing-backs.
I agree.
The hardcore seem like wing-backs, you know?
The hardcore seem to like the way that we think.
Yeah.
Because we're sort of on the same page.
Telepathic.
We're just friends. So I'll tell you what, I'll give you
No. Don't just dress over that.
God.
You didn't know I knew words that long.
What?
Telepathic.
Say it for me.
Telepathic.
Telepathic. Can you spell it?
Telepathy.
Yeah, telepathy. I love the way you pronounce words.
Why?
Because there's certain words that you mispronounce, but I just don't like correcting you.
I think everyone else is mispronouncing them.
I agree.
Like Brian said to me on the stream, on the Pain Game stream on Saturday night, he went, "Hold on, your favourite or your favourite?"
I love that. That was my favourite moment of the whole stream.
My favourite. And he went, "That's fine." He went, "I don't mind it. It's like I just needed to clear it up." And I was like, yeah. No, it's my favourite. Yeah,
I love it. We've got our own little things. There's in jokes here that we're all just friends.
There you go.
Do you know what I mean? And you can say it properly, so that's fine.
Yeah.
But you just
I was at Chelsea match with my
Was it your favourite
dad,
match?
and someone walked over to me and said, "I love it hardcore." Good job is my dad knows. My dad knows. He watches the videos.
Do you know what's funny is someone did that to me. My dad didn't know, and he was questioning everything about me.
Yeah. Josh had to just whisper to him. So do I.
Yeah. And my old man just went, "It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. We've all been there."
Shagger.
Yeah. So yeah, okay. I think we go with that formation, and
Right.
I think I'm happy to compromise and go Jadon.
Okay, so you can see the team on screen now, but what we hadn't spoke about is who I'm sticking in, and I'm not having any debate on this. I'm going to stick Jorgensen in there again. Now, people will be outraged, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously, Jorgensen is the man that I don't want to say lost us the match because we had already conceded a goal, but definitely lost us the opportunity of even getting a draw and carrying a little bit of momentum, an away draw at Aston Villa into this game. To be honest, I have grown up a Chelsea fan. It's either a win or a loss. There is no drawing in my book. I'm not really going to celebrate a draw unless it's a 4-4 draw against Man City.
Yeah, we won 4-4 when we won 2-2 against Arsenal.
2-2 draw against Arsenal. There you go. No, if you come back from like 4 goals down and draw 4-4, then it's like a win. But what I'm saying is 1-1 draw or 2-1 defeat don't really make much difference. Doesn't lift the morale all that much. I'm keeping Jorgensen in the lineup for this one because I just think that if Jorgensen hadn't have made that mistake at the end, Sanchez would have made a mistake somewhere else in the match.
I'm going to go for Bergstrom because I feel like that's the only real option we've got left.
You are not going Bergstrom. So we're going Jorgensen. Then we are going with a back three of Reece James, of Tosin Adarabioyo, and of Levi Colwell. The wing backs. Cucurella is going to be on the left-hand side, Malo Gusto on the right-hand side, and the two in midfield pick themselves. It's Enzo and Caicedo. And then we are going Jadon Sancho on the left-hand side with Cole Palmer on the right-hand side, of Pedro Neto leading the line. Who would have thought it? A centre-forward of Pedro Neto, and it's just come out of thin air, hasn't it?
It works.
It's not like anyone's ever suggested
no one's
doing
ever said
it.
And no one else was laughed at for saying it. You know, I thought he was our man of the match against Villa.
Yeah.
Would you say so?
I'd say so. Yeah, I thought the assist was great. I thought that Enzo Fernandez couldn't do anything about it but score. From that
Very
opportunity,
true.
Could he?
Do you know what's funny? When you got Gusto and Neto in the same team, they're the two best crossers we have at Chelsea.
Mm.
Would you agree with that?
No.
Who's a better crosser?
I think that you'd always argue for Pedro Neto being the best crosser because he can do it off of both feet.
Yep.
But I would still say if I want a ball on a sixpence type thing from the right hand side,
RJ.
that Reece James surpasses both.
Do you think he's a
Can
better
I-
crosser than Gusto?
Can I argue it? Can I argue it?
Yeah.
I'm arguing myself. Better crosser than Gusto.
Why?
No. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, right?
Okay.
Do you think at 5 foot, let's call it 7 at a push, probably 6.5, I'm winning or scoring many headers?
Yes, because you've got a brilliant jumping reach.
I have got a good jumping reach. But let's be honest. Do you think I'm scoring many headers?
No, but
No.
with your jumping reach, I bet you have.
Yeah. I've scored headers, but not many, right?
Yeah.
So what sort of cross do you think I'm going to prefer?
A low, hard-driven cross.
And if I do prefer a low, hard-driven cross, who do I probably want that cross from out of Reece James and Malo Gusto?
Malagusto.
There you go.
Okay, sorry, you were proving my point.
I'm kind of proving your point.
Yeah.
You thought I was
Yeah,
arguing.
yeah. I thought you were going for
I
RJ.
thought, you thought I was going to argue it. What I'm saying is, Malo Gusto for the low driven crosses is your man.
Do you know what I
But
want
I'm
Reece
on about
James in?
Reece James for a cross, and not the old 4-4-2, like not. I was about to say David Beckham. David Beckham actually used to cross from deep, but you know, like
He did.
Reece James, like he can get 10 yards past the halfway line and whip a ball onto the head of a striker if that striker's in the right position.
Can I just randomly ask you a question? Would you take Alvaro Morata back at Chelsea
No.
right now?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I reckon he would score. I reckon he'd score quite a lot of headers.
We're in a striker
Yeah,
crisis.
yeah.
We're in a striker crisis. Go through some strikers. I'll tell you whether I take them back.
By
or
the
not.
way, a certain Diego.
Diego
he's a
Costa's
free
a
agent.
free agent.
Yeah.
I'd take him. I'd take him.
I saw that.
But if we're giving a contract to him, I'll give one to Drogba as well because he looked pretty good in that Legends
Do you know
match.
who I actually would give a contract to? A former. In fact, I will let you guess. A former Chelsea striker that is playing still. That is the better option out of any of the ones that we've named so far.
Fabio Barini? No, I'm
No.
joking.
No.
Former Chelsea striker, playing still.
Some
better
might say
option.
devilishly good looking.
Well, not Higuain then.
No.
Um,
He's also probably still not playing. If he is, fuck me, fair play.
Yeah. Devilishly good looking.
Wasn't a hero for us, but was certainly a cult hero. Scored some very important goals for us.
Batshuayi?
In the not too distant past. Finals he scored goals
fucking
in.
say Kai Havertz, for God's
He
sake.
scored goals in finals.
Don't say Kai Havertz.
He came to us from another team in England. Another team in London.
Who are we talking about?
Olivier
Giroud.
Giroud. Still playing in we can't say you. By the way, Americans get really annoyed with this when you say the MLS.
Why?
You've just got to say he's playing in MLS.
I've always called it the MLS.
Me too, but that's very wrong because what you're saying then is the Major League Soccer, but it should just be Major League Soccer.
Well, let me remind you of something, right? If you're thinking you can't come from the MLS back to the Premier League, just remember the loan spell that Landon Donovan had. at Everton.
I thought you were going to say Carlos Vela. Do you remember him? He was playing in MLS.
Yeah, but Landon Donovan went Everton from
Yeah.
the MLS, and
Yeah.
you're thinking like, oh, yeah, you're the best American player. But at that point, Americans weren't that good. This is before the days of Robinson and some of the gems that they've produced. Caleb Wiley.
Oh, yeah,
Pulisic.
Hey,
the soccer LeBron James.
Yeah.
This is before those days, right? And you're kind of thinking like, yeah, you're the best American player, but are the American players all that good? Let me counter that.
They are now.
Outfield players, because I'd never doubt an American goalkeeper.
Tim Howard.
Brad Friedel.
Brad Guzan.
Casey Keller.
fuck me, they've had some good. They could have a team of goalies.
Yeah. I think it's because there's a lot of hands-on sports type things.
A lot of
and then
handball.
They transition to goalkeepers quite well.
I would say a skill set of a basketball player is very similar to a skill set of a goalkeeper.
I'd actually say a boxer is the closest because of reflexes.
Oh,
Like David A would have made a good
interesting.
goalkeeper.
Are you any good on those reflex machines? Are you any good on the?
Not really, because I just injure myself every opportunity given, don't I? You know what I mean?
Yeah, fucking hell. There's some proper Barclays men there, aren't
there
they?
you go.
I swear one of them wore tracky bees.
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been Casey Keller, maybe.
Casey Keller.
Yeah.
Fulham?
Yeah. But Tim Howard, great player. Oh, I was about to say Mark Schwarzer. He weren't American. No, he was.
Was he Aussie?
Was
he
he
Aussie?
in New Zealand or Australia?
No,
One
I
of
think
the
he
two.
was an Aussie, mate. I think he
might have
played
been an
with
Aussie,
the
mate.
old Cahill.
Yeah. So as I say,
How do we get
team
down these
on
things?
screen right now that we would be going for. We would be going for a change of formation. And again, I think that in the match against Aston Villa, disappointing result, disappointing performance in terms of losing control of the game like we did. Again, so much of that comes down to the recruitment. So much of that comes down to the fact that we haven't invested properly in the right age of player to be able to take the sting out of the game, calm things down, have that composure there. And the fact that we don't have the likes of, let's say, Trevor Chalobah, who is one of our more senior players, the fact that we didn't give another year's contract to Thiago Silva, they're all things that, put that in jeopardy. I've got no doubt that if we had a Kovacic so far this season, then he could be a player that could be subbed on in a game like that one against Aston Villa that would be able to calm things down, take a bit of sting out of the game.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I was thinking that on the way here, that he would be the exact person that I would have brought on in that game.
Exactly.
We need not a Thiago Silva, but because you can't just say, oh yeah, just bring Thiago Silva back. But we need someone of that experience as a centre back. We need an experienced goalkeeper, an experienced centre mid, and an experienced striker. Do you remember the time where we had Diego Costa and Didier Drogba in the same squad? And how crazy that would be. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I totally agree. We do need that level of experience to come in. And if we did, we would be winning more games. Let's be honest.
There you go.
Let's be honest.
There you go. Let's get a score prediction for this game. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to go a 4-0 thumping of Southampton.
Okay, I'm going to go for a 1-0 scraper.
I think you're very, very wrong. And
You
I
said
think
that about Aston Villa 2, Chelsea 1.
the game finished 2-1. Listen, people, I am going to be live for this game, so make sure you are clocked into it. If you click on YouTube and at bang on 8 o'clock I'm not live, don't worry, because I've got sparring at 7 o'clock. So I've got to get the sparring done. I've got to get home and get straight onto the laptop. But the big dog is going to help me sort out everything before.
I will,
So it's
yeah.
going to be there. We're going to be live for the game. I'll be tuning in. Make sure you're tuning in to the live stream.
Can you promise me that at 8:05 you will call me and I will give you some reporting from inside the grounds?
Yes, I will do that. I'll promise you that I will get some inside the ground reporting on how the game is going to pan out and how the stake went down.
Yes, and more about the lineup and the formation. I'll try and give you some insight based on the warm-ups.
There we go. Right, people, thank you for making it to the end of another video. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. I will see you all in the next one.